everyone, what is up? It is Berlin. I am back yet again with another video for you. This one is going to be about Jake Paul, as you can probably tell from the title, because I did report on this the other day. I did make a whole video about Jake Paul potentially sexually assaulting somebody who'd come forward by the name of Justine Paradise. She came out, made a whole YouTube video about the situation where she insisted that Jake had forced himself into her mouth and all this kind of stuff. So if you are triggered by this kind of topic, then please maybe don't watch this video. But I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit because now Jake Paul has come out and responded. So I'm going to carry on painting my face while we chat about all this. First of all, Justine has come out in a TikTok now because Keemstar responded to the Jake Paul allegations saying that he thought they were fake. I talked about that in a video that was responding to Keemstar. So Keemstar's come out, said that he thought these allegations against Jake Paul were fake. Justine Paradise has now come out with a TikTok talking about her experience once again, basically kind of lambasting Keemstar for calling the accusations fake.
Twitter, Keemstar literally put out a video regarding the assault, saying that it is impossible to be assaulted orally. Not just that he doesn't believe me, but that for anyone it is impossible because all you have to do is turn away. With that logic, wouldn't nobody be raped because all you have to do is close your legs? Are you kidding me?
Now, a lot of people, including me, took issue with the way that Keemstar chose to speak about this topic. He went off on a massive Twitter rant, which I included in my Keemstar video, saying that he wasn't going to cover this topic because it was fake and everything like that. But what Justine said there in that TikTok is absolutely correct. By Keemstar's logic, saying, oh, all you'd have to do is turn away, you know, you're implying that these things can't happen to people. And of course, somebody like me who's been through these kind of experiences, we know full well that these things can and do happen to people. So for Keemstar to just kind of brush it off immediately and say that it was all fake, I found that very, very disturbing. But not only that, when you go back and look at old footage of Jake Paul from a couple of years ago, there are clips of Jake Paul spitting on Alyssa Violet and stuff like this. So we can see that Jake Paul's character when it comes to how he treats women is disgusting. Jake Paul responded to the allegations saying sexual assault accusations aren't something that I or anyone should ever take lightly, but to be crystal clear, this claim made against me is 100% false. Not only have I never had any sexual relationship with this individual, but this claim is solely a manufactured accusation and a blatant attempt for attention during a highly visible fight week. Make no mistake, I plan on suing this defamation of character case to the fullest extent of the law. There are irreparable damages from these types of accusations, and more importantly, false allegations of this nature diminish those who have truly been victims of misconduct. Again, this individual is directly using the attention from her social media posts and video to promote her adult content website and Amazon shopping list, designed for people to buy her gifts. These allegations come conveniently for her almost 2 years after the alleged incident and the week of my fight, of course. At the time of her story, I was in a relationship, and as someone who was a mama's boy growing up, I respect women and mothers more than anything. I most certainly have never laid a finger on a girl without her consent. Not so sure about that one, Jake. Let's ask Alyssa Violet, shall we? Jake went on to say that these allegations are fake news and that he's going to fight it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to tell you guys what to think about this one, but personally, I feel that Jake Paul is a bit of a trash human. You've only got to look at things that he's done in years past to come to that kind of conclusion. So for me, I'm on the fence with this one. I really don't want to accuse Justine Paradise of lying because I do believe victims when they come forward with their stories. Jake, of course, is saying that this is all fake news, etc., etc. This is the problem with this. It becomes a bit of a he said this, she said that, and nobody really knows what to make of it when it's like this. But you know, having said that about Jake Paul, I'm going to include a clip here from a video from a YouTuber called Zame, where it shows footage of Jake Paul spitting on Alyssa Violet.
He has assaulted females in the past and even went as far to say he has spit on girls. I've never seen you, I'm not even kidding, you're a guy, I've never seen you spit a day in my life. Let alone on someone or near someone if you're showing disdain upon them. That's not how you've ever handled your problem. So I know when I saw that, I'm just like, all right, that's false.
Not even that, but like for them to say that I even laid a finger on Alyssa is the most absurd thing in the world.
And of course, Jake Paul has got this big boxing match coming up right now. So speaking of boxing, somebody else who brought up boxing recently, bizarrely, was Trisha Paytas. Because on Frenemies yesterday, Trisha and Ethan were talking about wrestling. And Ethan Klein said, oh, you know, I wouldn't wrestle you, whatever. I wouldn't box you. And then Trisha went and read the comments. And apparently people thought that Trisha was triggered about it. Because Ethan saying that he wouldn't box Trisha kind of triggered Trisha about their identity, the gender identity, because of course Trisha's come out recently saying they do identify as non-binary, which is all good. So apparently Trish was a little bit triggered, or people thought Trish was a little bit triggered about that whole thing.
This frenemies, I read the comments and a lot of people think that I'm triggered because Ethan called me gross and that I was interrogating him because he was uncomfortable with wrestling me. That's not the case. I was like, it's totally fine if you don't want to wrestle me, obviously. I mean, it was kind of just a gimmick anyways, because he's like, oh, I would box you. I would box you. I was like, oh, really? I'm like, well, we should wrestle. That's like a little less invasive. And it's also something that I've done. So obviously him not wanting to wrestle me, not a big deal. But I was like, okay, you want to box me. So it has nothing to do with us being male to female, but you don't want to wrestle me, right? Okay. Now let me tell you where this all triggers from. This triggers from high school. And in no way did Ethan even know this would trigger me. So I'm not like sharing this on him. It's just like, it's just frustrating that the comments are thinking I'm like, oh, I'm triggered because Ethan called me gross. I would thank the Lord if that's the reason why. And that's why I was trying to get to the bottom of it. I was like, okay, so you not wanting to wrestle me has nothing to do with me being female and you being male, because you said you want to box me clearly. So I was like, okay, so are you sexualizing me? Is it because I have breasts and you just are uncomfortable? Because a lot of people like, maybe he's respecting his wife's boundaries and like sexualizing me, being like, oh, he's respecting Elam by not wrestling me. And why? Because it's a sexual thing? It's not. And wrestling is not a sexual thing. In high school, I auditioned 4 times. Technically 3, but I wrestled 4 times, but I auditioned technically 3 times. And it was when I was 12, 13, 14. And I was the only female that did not get to be on the team. Well, basically I was the only female that year trying out, but there was other females at competing schools. So the chances of me competing against another female when we had competed would have been like 50-50, right? Sometimes it would have been guys, sometimes it would have been girls. And also my weight class that I was in, it would have been mostly guys. Now, a year after I left, a girl got on the team. So let me just keep that in mind. So at 12 years old, I was told that I was in the same weight class as this person, but my height, I don't know, they didn't do our heights it was like junior high. They didn't do our heights or whatever. And so like, if he's like, oh, well, it's a girl and she's lower to the ground. So obviously for takedowns and stuff like that, I had more of an advantage, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it was basically because I wasn't a girl. All right, trigger number 1, but hey, that's fine, whatever. I got to play, I was on the high school golf team with all guys competing against guys, but not a contact sport. Cool. So then the third team, the guys, like, I can't like have my guys wrestling her boobs. Look how big her boobs are. Like,
now, I love some Trisha Paytas, but to be perfectly honest with you, I did feel like they were going off on a bit of a tangent here, spiraling a little bit perhaps. You know, Trisha's come out before and said they do have BPD, you know, which is borderline personality disorder. This is something that I also have, so I can kind of relate to Trish sometimes on that kind of thing. But, you know, I don't get why Trish went into reading the comments underneath the frenemies thing. Maybe that really wasn't that good for their mental health. But, you know, it is Trish. Trish is always very tempted, I feel, to read their comments. So I don't know. But when I watched the frenemies episode, I personally didn't see Ethan being misogynistic at all. Honestly, I thought he was just very respectful. It was a normal conversation. I didn't see any kind of issue there with Ethan and the way that he was speaking about Trish. But I don't get why other people would. I mean, you guys let me know all your thoughts and opinions on that. If you watch Frenemies, if you felt like the conversation took a misogynistic kind of undertone. I really didn't see that myself, to be honest with you. I don't know. I guess everyone's different. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course. Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. Me, my personal opinion, if you want to talk about somebody being misogynistic, I'm looking at people like Keemstar, because honestly for me, Keemstar, the way that he spoke about Justine Paradise and the accusations that she'd made against Jake Paul, when he was all like, oh well, you just turn your head, as Justine said in the clip that I showed you at the beginning of the video, her TikTok, as Justine said there, Keemstar's comments had the same energy as, oh well, you could have just closed your legs and that would kind of prevent you from being R-worded, which of course is not correct at all. It is horrific. You know, Keemstar should have just sat there and ate his food and not even commented on the situation at all. But of course, no, he went off on a big old Twitter rant about it, giving his opinion on it that nobody asked for. I don't know, you know, I think this is the problem with some of the kind of male commentary and drama channels. When they try and step in to talk about things that happen to females or non-binary people or transgender people, they end up putting their foot in their mouths because they don't know, they don't have the same lived experiences that we do. Therefore, they get a lot of things very, very wrong, you know, and it becomes a mess. So guys, I'm going to continue doing my funky eyeliner, painting the rest of my face, and I will see you again soon. Take care, stay safe, stay well. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below, and I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Love ya. Bye.